You no longer have access to the perimeter of my life where you can get close enough to hurt me in that way. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? You no longer have access to be close enough to me, to my light, to my truth, to my authenticity, to my vulnerability, to my sensitivity, to everything that makes me who I am, for you to be able to hurt me that way. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Najwa Zebian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. Today's episode is a topic that is extremely close to my heart. It's also controversial because every time I talk about it, I get people saying, "Oh, what did you just say?" And the topic is how to not take things personally. I had an interview with my dear friend Lisa Bilyeu last year, and there's one clip where I say, take things personally. And every time I share that clip, everyone's like, what do you mean? You're the person who tells us don't take things personally and don't let other people's actions affect you and don't let them hurt you in the way that they're trying to hurt you. I agree with you. I do tell you that. But here's the power in taking things personally. When you take things personally, you feel the pain you're supposed to feel so that you can make the decision you're supposed to make. When you don't take things personally, you separate yourself from what just happened to you and say, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to change anything within myself. I'm not going to change the way I see you because what you just did to me has nothing to do with me. You stop yourself from feeling the pain they inflicted upon you, and therefore stop yourself from making the decision you need to make as a result of the decision they made to hurt you. When somebody lies to you and you say, I'm not going to take it personally, you have no incentive to stop giving them access to you. What you can say is, you lied to me. I don't accept being lied to. I am no longer giving you access to my trustworthiness, to my loyalty, to my energy. You no longer have access to my presence because I can't trust yours. That's what happens when you take things personally. Because yes, sometimes people want to hurt you. Sometimes people know that they're lying to you. And sometimes they lie to you because they don't want you to know the truth of who they are. And sometimes they lie to you because they don't want to handle the consequences of the lie. They know how it's going to upset you. It's not a flattering thing for someone to tell you, oh, I lied to you about that because I knew how you were going to react. Well, if you knew how I was going to react, maybe you shouldn't have done the thing that you did that you knew would hurt me. Do you see how taking it personally doesn't mean that I've internalized the message that the person is trying to tell me about myself? That says, you can't handle your emotions. You can't handle whatever it is that I'm doing. Something's wrong with you that's made me believe that I can lie to you and get away with it. I think that's what many people think taking it personally means. That I'm gonna make what you did to me mean something about me. But in my definition, that's not what taking it personally means. When you take something personally, you acknowledge and validate for yourself whatever your gut was telling you. This person really wanted to hurt me. This person really wanted to see me sit in pain. This person didn't care enough about sharing the truth with me. This person didn't consider me in my absence. And that really hurt. This person consistently disrespected me behind my back, and that really hurts. This person took every opportunity they could to break me down and to belittle me and humiliate me, and that really hurts. And what do I do with that pain? Instead of sitting and saying, oh, they did that because something about me gave them permission. That's not the truth. They did that because they chose to do that. Just because you're a good person and you're an honest person and you make excuses for others and you're understanding, it does not give anyone the right to take advantage of that or to hurt you and say, well, you're that type of person, so I just took advantage the way that you let me. And you believe that. You say, oh, maybe if I was a little bit stronger, maybe if I was a little bit more mean or rude or just more guarded, they would have respected me more, or they would have talked about me better behind my back, or they would have thought 10 times before they hurt me. That's the furthest thing from the truth. When somebody has the ability and the willingness to inflict pain upon you, it doesn't matter how many boundaries you have. It doesn't matter how guarded you are. It doesn't matter how matter of fact you are, how you've spelt things out, how you've said, I accept this and don't accept this. They will do whatever they choose to do. They just become smarter at hiding it from you. They become smarter at doing it in a way where you can never pinpoint it and say, you actually did this. They just become better at concealing who they are. But who they are stays who they are. There's a previous episode where I gave the analogy of an egg dipped in gold. They can pretend to be loving and caring, and they can pretend to really care about your feelings, and they can pretend like they're the type of person who would never backstab you. They can pretend like they're the type of person that would never betray you. But if that's who their character is, doesn't matter how much they pretend, they're always going to snap back to who they are. You squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. You squeeze a person who has the ability to betray and the willingness to betray, what comes out? Betrayal. You squeeze out a person whose entire identity is built on lies. What comes out? Lies. Dishonesty. Now think of yourself and what you're made of. What happens when you squeeze yourself? Honesty, loyalty, care, truthfulness, authenticity, vulnerability, and a kind of reveling in the authenticity, like telling yourself, I love this part of me. Paying attention to how people feel, considering how they would feel about what you're saying about them behind closed doors if they were to find out, so that you don't say anything bad. The definition of integrity is for you to do the right thing when nobody's watching. You have integrity. They don't. So when they decide to do the thing they know will hurt you behind your back and think, oh, well, she's never going to find out, I can do it anyway. Just please ask yourself if that's the type of person you want in your life. With that kind of person, hear me out. You have to take things personally because they are aiming something at you to hurt you. And when you take it personally, you say, that was wrong. I'm not okay with that. That really hurt. You know, you threw a bucket of water at me. I'm wet. But I'm not going to take it personally in a way that says, I deserved that you throw that bucket of water at me. I'm going to take it personally in a way that says, Who do you think you are? And who do you think I am for you to be able to insult me and disrespect me in that way? You no longer have access to the perimeter of my life where you can get close enough to hurt me in that way. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? You no longer have access to be close enough to me, to my light, to my truth, to my authenticity, to my vulnerability, to my sensitivity, to everything that makes me who I am, for you to be able to hurt me that way. In Welcome Home, I talked about how the definition of vulnerability isn't just about being open to love and happiness and joy, but when you're vulnerable, you're also open to injury. When you trust someone and give them the ability to make you happy, to make you joyful, to make you feel loved, you're also giving them the power to break you. What choice will they make? When they make the choice to break you, you have every right to say, that hurt me. That's wrong. You knew me for who I was. You got close enough to me to be able to have the honor and the privilege to add to my life. And you chose to break me? Yes, I'm going to take it personally. Yes, I'm going to consider that moving forward. Yes, I'm going to say, that brought out a kind of pain from inside of me. Yes, I'm going to be angry. Yes, I'm going to feel sad for a while at the shock that you actually did that. Yes, I'm going to take it personally. And the sad part is, if I had done that to you, you would have taken it personally yesterday. So why do you have the right to be upset at the things that I could possibly do to hurt you, but I don't have the right to? Sometimes people speak to you in a way that says, well, you know better. So like if I mistreated you, you should know better. Like you're mature, you should deal better with those things. And it's a messed up mind game that they put you through. Instead of them taking responsibility for what they chose to do, they're telling you, why don't you take responsibility for the way that you're choosing to react? And now you're sitting there trying to prove to them that you are actually the bigger person and that you are more mature and that you will take time to try to make sense of why it is that you're trying to talk to them about it, as opposed to doing what a bigger person does, which is not take things personally and just look at what they did and say, I'm not dealing with that. When people do that to you, like they bank on your maturity to not react and respond to their lack of maturity. Big, huge red flag. Big red X in your way that says, do not move forward. Stop here. That's a red light. Like a permanent red light. That's a dead end road. There's nothing further. You turn around and you go back. You find another path. People who rely on you not reacting to what they do to you to hurt you are the people who are going to be the end of you, metaphorically. Because they will continue to jab at you and jab at you and jab at you. And the more and more you don't take what they're doing to you as an indication that you need to revoke access to your life, they'll keep jabbing and jabbing until you have no more strength to fight back and to not react and to not respond and to not change what you've allowed them to do. They won't stop. Just like we always say, people who give need to know when to stop giving, because takers rarely know when to stop taking. So People who give people excuses need to stop giving people excuses, because people who rely on others giving them excuses don't know when to stop asking for excuses. They'll keep getting away with what they get away with. So use the magic of taking things personally to say, this is where you stop. You can't do this anymore. You don't have access to me anymore to hurt me in that way. You lied to me once. The whole foundation of the trust we've built together, whether we're in a relationship, whether you're my friend, whether you're somebody I'm building a business with or I'm working with, or you're somebody who's in my community that I'm working on something with, you just shook the foundation of trust that I extended to you, that I thought we had. It's not my job to pretend like what you did didn't just happen and continue to walk on a broken foundation with pieces of concrete all over the place, and I don't know if I'm gonna fall, and I don't know if I need to take a step upwards, and I don't know. I'm not doing that anymore. You did what you did. I took it personally, and I'm gonna change the way I see you and the way that I see how worthy you are of being close to me moving forward. So yes, take things personally. Yes, hold people to their actions. Yes, make people understand that you are not to be messed with. You are not to be taken advantage of. Your kindness isn't an invitation for them to walk all over you. In a previous episode, I also said, people pleasers sometimes will tell a person who's walking all over them, like, how can I make my back more comfortable for you to walk on? Like, how can I make it easier for you to stomp all over me? How can I make it easier for you to break me further? And it's messed up, but we do that. Why? Because we're scared that the person stomping all over us no longer wants to stomp all over us, because any attention is better than no attention. We would rather be hurt by the people in our lives than not have them choose to hurt us in the first place. Because if they're choosing to hurt us, that means they have some kind of an emotional attachment to us, and we would rather hold on to that than not have them at all. And it's sad. But it happens everywhere. And it's happened to you, and it might be currently happening to you, where you're allowing people who you know aren't treating you right to continue to have access and to continue to have just your light be dimmed by their presence. They're like a black screen that's trying to block out your light from extending to the world around you. They're trying to keep you small. But somehow you think you can't survive without them. And I know that in that there is a quiet hope that says, if I persevere long enough, they will change for me. They will become better. They will treat me better. But I'm going to tell you something. If someone chooses to continue to hurt you because they think you're okay with it, because you have been okay with it, that's not somebody you could ever trust to not hurt you. You know why? Because a person who genuinely loves you and cares about you wouldn't accept upon you the mistreatment they're giving you. Someone who loves you and truly cares for you would not allow anyone in the world, let alone themselves, treat you that way. But they're choosing to. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. People who love you and care for you do not contribute to your pain or to your suffering or to your struggle. They don't. You've mistaken love for being used and for being taken advantage of and for being manipulated, for being walked all over, for being treated like you're less than. And it's not your fault that you've mistaken those two things, those two polar opposite things. It's the way you were conditioned for years. And you have the ability to break that conditioning. You have the ability to leave it in the past. You have the ability to say no more. You have the ability to grow and evolve into a person who has different beliefs about yourself and different beliefs about what love actually means. Just because somebody can rely on you, it doesn't mean they love you. Just because somebody can request things from you, it doesn't mean they love you. How do you know that someone truly loves you? They don't do the things to you that require you to sit and question, is this love or is it mistreatment? They don't do the things to you that require you to sit and contemplate whether they did it on purpose or not. They care about the way they make you feel. They listen to you when you express your hurt. They try to fix what they broke inside of you, if it's unintentional. They grow with you. That's how you know someone loves you. They actually think of you. They consider you. They think, how is she going to feel as a result of this thing, of this choice that I made, of this thing I said, of this thing I did? You have the right to change what love means to you. It's not too late. And you know what? It's going to help you shift that definition and change it into a healthy one. It's taking things personally. People don't just walk around and do reckless things without thinking, oh, how is this hurting the people who are closest to me? They know what they're doing. I know it's hard to hear, but they know exactly what they're doing. And you're mature and wise enough to know to differentiate between somebody who has been doing this to you and you've just had this gut feeling, but you've never allowed yourself to give yourself the validation that says they know what they're doing, versus somebody just doing a one-off thing and you know that you're making a big deal out of it because of your traumas, your triggers, the stories from the past, like you know. But these words, they know what they're doing. You know exactly who they apply to in your life. And when you start seeing them as somebody who's intentional, they have the ability to make a different choice, you start acting differently with them. You start the process of revoking their access to you. You start the process of rebuilding everything inside of you that they broke. This brings me to words from me to you. And this is from The Only Constant. It's the Changes We Don't Choose chapter. This part is titled, Don't Take Things Personally. How about that for a plot twist for this episode? When a change happens in your life that you have no control over, it's easy to speak to yourself in a way that intensifies the pain more than its inherent intensity. So instead of feeling the pain of that one event that happened, you feel the pain of the bigger question, why did this happen to me? That's literally what it means to take it personally. You make what happened to you mean something about you, or that you deserved it happening to you. Maybe it just happened because someone else decided to do it. Maybe it happened because you did something that pushed it to happen. I mean this in the most non-victim blaming way possible. But knowing that your actions have consequences pushes you to take accountability instead of plunging you into shame. And maybe what taking accountability looks like is learning to set your own boundaries. Maybe it's about learning what it is that has gotten you to a point in your life where you would allow a certain kind of behavior that caused you that kind of pain. Maybe it's about unlocking a certain potential that you've always been scared to explore. And maybe it's redirecting you away from something that in the long run is not good for you. By the same token, maybe it's directing you towards something that is good for you in the long run. I wrote this in The Only Constant because I wanted you to remember that the definition of taking it personally that says, I'm going to make what happened to me mean something about me, we're done with that. We're not taking things personally that way. We're taking things personally in a way that says, this thing you did to me was not okay. You did it to me. Of course you were intending to hurt me. And if you weren't intending to hurt me, that's kind of even worse, because it means that you didn't take the time to consider how your actions would make me feel. So I am going to take your intention or lack thereof personally in a way that says, I don't deserve that. And I will not let you close enough to me to hurt me in that way ever again. It's time for words that found me. You've heard these words, you see them all over the place, but you're going to feel them differently this time. These words are by Maya Angelou. She says, when people show you who they are, believe them. When people treat you in a certain way, believe them. When they lie to you, believe that that's how they see you. They believe that it's okay to lie to you. When people don't consider you, that's a choice they're making. Believe that they're okay with you feeling not considered. When people backstab you, betray you, try to break you in any way, humiliate you, believe that they know what they're doing. Because when you're able to do that, you're able to make the next choice. Are you going to keep them in your life, or are you going to get rid of them? Are you going to set some boundaries, or are you going to continue to make yourself easier for them to walk all over you? That's a choice you can make. Use the power of taking things personally to elevate your internal life in a way where the person that the world sees is no longer an invitation to be hurt and walked all over and taken advantage of. Take things personally to make this person inside of you feel like you have their back. You have your back. I hope this episode helped you find the healing that you've been needing. And I hope that you take a minute to either share something from the episode or the whole episode with someone who you think it will help, or with someone who you will think it will help understand you more. Please leave ratings, reviews, everything helps, and it always makes my heart happy. I hope this episode helped you find healing beyond words, and until next time, have a lovely day.